Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Northside Plow with Pop One Podcast. We're here again, man.
So
with
we
my
are.
boy Danny. He topped the regional out in Mendenhall, Mississippi. What place you get?
Got fourth place, slid in, going 6-1-1 in an 8-round regionals. God, it was a long day. I did not expect us to be there.
Dude, it was super deep, and a lot of big names out there.
Yeah.
Goo Gaming, Inspired TCG was out there, and this new team that I haven't seen a lot of, but they did pretty well, was Team Empire, and they were pretty cool, man. I got to sit down and talk with them. I think they said they were out of Arkansas, I believe. I'm not too sure. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry, guys. But shout out to you guys. But man, dude, the Pop One boys, man, they went out there and they showed out. We had 3 placements in the top 16, and you had the highest placement, going in crazy. I really want to get into this deck profile and show the people what you played. So what'd you play?
Yeah, so yesterday I was on a mono we want to beat down, aka Runick Stun. The deck is not it's fun for you to play. Like, I love playing the deck, but I'm here to let you know you will create no friends playing this deck. No one is happy when they sit down and they see what you're doing. So it's most of my guys that I played against were like a GG, you know, but there was a few that were like, you can go screw yourself, which is fair. Honestly, it's totally fair. So I'll recap the regionals and kind of like what all I played into and my thoughts on it after the deck profile, but let's go ahead and get into it.
Alright, before we get into it, let's look at this beautiful prizing that Konami brought out. The black deck box. Finally a new colored deck box. I know it's been out for a little while. We just haven't had regionals down here, so this is like us seeing it for the first time. And then that playmat.
This playmat is sick, so I really wanted this playmat badly just because I think it looks so cool. So I was telling all the boys when we got there, it's like the only reason I'm actually coming to this regional is because, one, you know, it's the boys. First time we've had a big team show out in a while, and I just really wanted this mat. It's so cool looking. This is Darkhold Dragon. He's a new monster from the new set. He's kind of ass, but you know, it is what
Konami
it is.
always like promotes like the worst cards, but they are the coolest designs ever.
They really are.
All right, let's get into it.
So first things first, we got our nice little Field Center Mew, of course.
Yes, sir.
So of course we said we're playing on a Mono Iwado beatdown. We've got to play a Mono Iwado. This card is going first or second. The reason why is because going first, you summon this, and then it allows you to play everything, and they can't hand trap you, unless they like imperm this and hand trap you, in which case, you know, they got wasted 2 cards. Who cares? Going second, though, that's where this card shines because you can play it. They can't activate monster effects, and then you can then proceed to use your Runicks to break their board. I did that quite a lot. It was good. I like 2. Some people are playing 3, which is fine if you like it. 2 fountain. Obviously, it's 2 fountain. 3 tip. It's 3 tip. 3 flash of fire. It's flash of fire. Destruction. Freezing curses. Slumber. The generic. Golden droplets. Everyone is playing this card. A lot of people will question you when you use this card against them because it lets them draw a card, but it gets 5 total cards out of their deck. This is how you expedite the game quickly. Smiting Storm, this is how you end games. Unfortunately for me, every time I used Desires, which you'll see later in the deck profile, I always banished this card, so it never came up to seal the deal for game, but it usually does. It's also just another Runick name. And I was playing the 18th quick spell, which is Dispelling. This card actually came up a few times where they would add something off of Prosperity that was like, it wasn't a super out of my board, but it would help like an Ash Blossom, and then I would just Dispel in and get rid of the Ash Blossom, and that came up a lot, and that was super clean, as well as it's just another Runick name that you need. You really need to see in your opening hand 2 Runicks and like 2 non-engine, and then 1 you don't care whatever it is, but that's the ratio. That's why we're playing 20 Runicks, including the 2 field spells. And this is a 42 card deck. So now for the draw engine, I took a different stance on the draw engine, so we're on 2 Desires, 2 Dualities, and 2 Time Tearings. So for this ratio, really you never want to see multiples of any of these. Like, seeing multiples of Duality is kind of fine, but you never want to see double Desires. You never want to see 2 or 3 Time Tearings. So I wanted to limit that. This card is insane though, so it might have warrant to go up to 3, because when this resolves, I never lost a duel. You're drawing 2 every turn, and what this deck lacks sometimes is if you don't draw Runicks after you have the field spell up, you can like fizzle, but this card allows you to never fizzle. So pretty much after you resolve this, you're drawing 5 every single turn, and that's just insane. Your opponent's never outing that, more than likely. A lot of people aren't playing Desires. I love Desires. You stack the bottom of your deck to get rid of this stuff, and then you Desires to draw 2. Like, yes, you can banish the field spell if you activate this before you search the field spell, but I would argue that in those games you're going to lose anyways if you don't draw 2 cards, so this comes up. There was a game that I banished both my field spells, and I still ended up winning because I just drew enough and I resolved the time tearing that I needed to resolve. So that was the main draw engine, and then we have some 1-0s for draw engines. Terraforming, I wanted to play 3 field spells. Getting to your field spells is very important, and unfortunately, since everyone is playing on hand traps, you cannot rely on Hugin to reliably get you your field spell. So, card of demise, this card is cracked. I resolved this card 3 times all weekend, and every time you resolve it, you win. So, 1 day apiece. I just wanted to be cheeky. I wanted to run 42 cards rather than 41. This card came up one time where I was going first and my hand was just kind of like really, really bad. So I just did 1 day apiece, set skill drain, and it was enough. So they can't kill me. They draw a card. It's nice. So now for the floodgates, we've got 3 skill drains, 3 rivalries, 3 TC boos, and 2 messenger apiece. Skill drain, TC boo, this is of course obvious. If you're not running those, you're on cracked. A lot of your times when you're activating just these 2, your opponent will scoop. Sometimes they just scoop with skill drain. Skill drain's busted. I don't know why it's at 3, but if it's at 3, I'm going to play this cancer of a deck. For rivalry, some people are playing Gozen, some people are playing rivalry. I like rivalry. I side the Gozen match. This is very good. Now, you'll notice, though, that this is obviously very bad into Unchained, which is a very popular matchup. That's when you pray to God that you draw this card. Round 2, I was playing against an elemental hero player, and this was my set Floodgate, and he's playing heroes, and I'm looking at it like, man, maybe I should have main Gozen instead of this. But, you know, against other stuff, it put in a lot of work, so it's just whatever you think is going to put in work. Messenger of Peace, we played this rather than Scrub Raid. I truly do believe that Scrub Raid is capped. A lot of times you do not have the resources needed for Scrub Raid in order to hit or like get rid of cards to end the battle phase, and this card does the same thing essentially. Like, yes, the 100 life points did come up in one of the matches that I actually had to call a judge on for time because my opponent was slow playing me, but other than that, it worked out perfectly. This card put in a lot of work. Other than purely, I got White Cat beat down for a little bit before I summoned a mono Wadu and just started doing a mono Wadu beat down. So that's the main deck. It is 42 cards. Honestly, I wouldn't change a single thing about the main deck. Maybe I would cut 1 rivalry for 1 Gozen in the main, but that's about it for the main. We'll go into the extra. The stuff we're always summoning: 3 Hugin, 3 Jerry, 2 Frecky, 2 Munin, and 1 Sleipnir. Sleipnir is discount IP or SP Little Knight. I never played this card. Munin obviously, or not obviously, but Munin I think should be at 3 over Jerry. This card is what you end on most of the time. When you like game 1, game 2, and 3, it's Hugin. But Munin is what's great because you gain the 1,000 life points at every end phase, as well as it's really nice to get rid of targeting stuff. So if they're playing Cosmic Cyclones, and post side you can make that judgment whenever you banish certain things. Like for one of my opponents, I banished Lightning Storm and a Harpies with my cards, so I just sat on a Mugen because I figured the only out that he was like potentially going to draw was the Cosmic Cyclone. Frecky is what you play when you only have, or what you summon when you only have 1 quick play and you need to not die. So you just Frecky, add back the quick play, and then you'll have it for the next turn as well. And usually they're only getting 1 or 2 attacks per turn, so this eats up 1 of them. As well as if they attack into this, they have to banish the 2 cards. Jerry does Jerry things. I did use his effect 1 time to add back the field spell, and you know it's good then. But it also just gets rid of your opponent's board, and that's what's more important about this. And Hugin is Hugin. Hugin is how you don't lose to Lightning Storm because it's aids, and you can summon out Hugin with the Runick and then use it as conditioning, which is insane. For flex spots, we're playing Abyss Dweller. This card should be SP Little Knight, but I'm not paying $110 to play an SP Little Knight in a stupid Runick stun deck. Baguska, this card came up never this weekend, but it did come up in testing. Typhoon came up. However, though, I didn't win that game. I believe that was my game against Tearlaments round 1. So yeah, and then Zeus comes up whenever you have the Baguska or the Typhoon technically, but you're not. it didn't make it. So that was the extra deck. I probably wouldn't change anything other unless if I pull an SP Little Knight, this becomes SP Little Knight. So for the side, we sided in everything at one point or another. Honestly, I think the side was about as perfect as I was going to get it. Okay. So we're playing 3 Lava Golems. This is how you out big monsters. This is how I beat my purely matchups. They would have Black Cat and then one of the White Cats, and I was like, man, why didn't you just end on the Black Cat? You would have just auto beat me, but instead here we are, and here's your Lava Golem. And then if they add back everything, it doesn't matter because you flip up TCV and you say GG no re. So yeah, it's good. I sided in Spooky Dogwood. I never saw this card. When you side this in, you side out Time Tearing. I sided this in every time the clock said 15 minutes or under, because your opponents take a lot of time looking at your board. Some take more than others. So yeah, I never saw this though, so it didn't really matter. And then 2 Inspector Borders. This is what you play when you're going first. This is your pseudo out to evenly matched, because you summon this, set 1 or 2 Floodgates, and then have your Runick Fountain, and then if they evenly matched, you can just leave this up and you're usually still cooking. So yeah. And then for more going first cards, we're playing 3 Dark Bribe. Like going first, these cards come in every time, period, no questions asked, because sometimes you'll have Skill Drain up and you can't Hugin under Skill Drain, and you really need to have an out to those cards. So this is how you do that. And you never want to pay half your life points for Solemn Judgment. Then we're playing 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I thought that Anti-Spell would be big this weekend, and I wanted to play 5 outs to Anti-Spell, including the Destructions in the main. So this is what did it for me. I actually ended up Cosmic Cycloning my own Skill Drain, so that way Munin can gain 1,000 life points at the end of every turn, and that's what won me my round 5 that had the time call on it. And then we said we're playing the 2 goes and matches in the side, and we are. Whenever Rivalry's not good, these come out. Whenever TC Boo's not good, these come in, and stuff like that. It's really easy. So for siding patterns, most of the time whenever you're going first, it's always going to be Dark Bribe and Inspector Border, and then goes and match applicably, and then going second, it's like usually always Cosmic Cyclone, Lava Golems, goes and matches. And people are like, why would you side more Floodgates going second? And that's because every Floodgate in your deck is essentially Torrential Tribute, so it gets rid of your opponent's board. It's just really, really solid. I wouldn't change too much about the side. Maybe figure out if there's something better than Spooky Dogwood. Like maybe Droll and Lockbird might be good, but probably not, to be honest with you. So that's the deck. It was really solid for me. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. The only reason that I ended up playing it is because our buddy Jacob Richardson, he borrowed cards for Branded Chimera, and I didn't have a deck to play, so I said, well, I'm going to make people not very happy. And we ended up getting the map. Alright, so we'll go over the matchups a little bit. So round 1, I played Tier Limits. So round 1 was kind of funny because him and I are both military, and it was Veterans Day, and I did not expect a card shop to ask us to stand up. Yeah. If you're a card shop owner, please don't do that. We hate that shit. Yeah. Like, we're here to play nerd card games. Yeah. But anyways, so that was Tier Limits. He ended up beating me. Game 1, he milled like all 4 Shizus. I was like, oh my god, I couldn't play through it. I got game 2, and then game 3, he got it. Round 2, I played against Heroes. I ended up winning that. Round 3, I played against Labyrinth. We drew. And then the next 5 rounds, I ended up just winning out, which was great. Round 4, I believe, was Nick on Horus. Therion Stun, I want to say, is what he was on.
Okay.
And then I played into Unchained. That's where the slow play call came up. He took multiple times where he's taken 2 or 3 minutes on the deck, and he told me before that he's new to the deck, which as a judge told me afterwards, regionals are not where you go to learn a deck. Exactly. And I asked him, because I don't like calling a judge for that, I asked him multiple times, hey, can you like speed it up? He's under TC Boo goes in match, and all this other stuff. I know that there's no play Unchained can make, but he's waiting out the time because I'm down life points 100 by 100. So he flips up Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and after that, there is no other play you can make in that deck. From what he has. He also only has 1 card left in deck and no cards in hand. So he's just looking, he looks in his extra deck for like 40 seconds, and then he puts it down and he goes, I think I gotta play. And I was like, Judge. Yeah. So I called the judge. Judge came over and gave us a 1-minute time extension, told him he had no plays he can make, so he had to pass the turn. He passed the turn, end phase, Munin gives me 1,000 life points. I win the duel.
I want to add to that, if a judge gives you a 1-minute time extension, you need to appeal that. We also learned that it is required, it's actually in the handbook, that you need to get a 3-minute time extension, no matter what the call is. And I don't want people to use this because it kind of sounds like you can kind of use it to your advantage in a way. Apparently what we heard was that if you call a slow play, regardless of the situation, your opponent will get a warning, and it's a mandatory 3-minute time extension, even if you call it. So if they get a warning, any time slow play is mentioned, they're really trying to get into it, Konami is right now, and so you will get that 3-minute time extension. But Danny got 1 minute, but you ended up taking it anyway.
Yeah, and what bothers me about that, right, is that he had no cards in hand. He flipped up Fiendish Rhino Warrior under Gozen Match and TC Boo. There's nothing that you can do after that. Yeah. He's also under Messenger of Peace, so there's not much. And he has like 1 card left in deck, and I have a tip in hand. Yeah. So I know as soon as my turn starts, it's all I have to do is say tip, search, pass. So he loses no matter what, but he didn't want to lose that way. So I'm sorry that ended up happening that way, man, but like, I'm not getting slow played for game. I'm just not.
Well, that's true. And another thing that Joe said, you said it too. You need to know your deck before you come to an event. This is a tier 2 event. You need to know what's going on. This isn't a place to go to locals to learn your deck, and then you go to these events to play the deck. And it's not one where you just gotta try to learn your deck at a big event. It's not how it works. And you handled it well though.
Yeah, and like my round 3 opponent, Larry, who was on Labyrinth, he's a very good Labyrinth player. There were multiple times where he took a minute to think of a play, and I understand that. He would have 5 cards in hand, he's playing Labyrinth, he has multiple different option trees, and I did not ask to rush that. And that's the game we drew. But when you have no options and I know that you're stalling for time when there's less than a minute or 2 left, that's when I'm like, all right, you are doing this maliciously. Yeah. But anyways, so after him, I played, I believe it was Tier Laments. I got that 2-0. And then I think that I played I played Jay Watkins on Purely. I'm so sorry.
Jay Watkins.
Yeah, TC Boo skill drain, puts in work against Purely, and then for my final round I played against another Purely. Actually, he's the guy that I lost to in the last Mendenhall Regionals in round 1, so he got a little bit of vengeance. We both just wanted the mat, so it was a good game. I say good, I'm on Runick stun. There's no good game. Game 1, I won the dice roll. Yippee, I got it. Game 2, he Harpy's Feather Dusted me for my life savings. And then game 3, I banished his double Lightning Storm. And as soon as he banned it, I banished the last Harpy's Feather Dusted scoop. So, yeah, that was my rounds. It was a super good day. Shout outs to all of Pop 1 Podcast. Shout outs to Michael and Victor specifically. We got in a Discord about a day before, and we just theoried on sideboard and stuff for like 2 or 3 hours. Like, I looked at the clock and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, oh my god, I gotta go to bed. Yeah. Shout outs to my buddy Brandon. Shout outs to my buddy Leonard. Those guys helped sort of with the deck. Brandon gave me some cool ideas. I didn't use them, but he gave me some cool ideas. And then Leonard gave me an idea to talk about Messenger of Peace in Discord. Shout outs to my girlfriend, who I proposed to today. Don't let this video go out before today, please. Okay. But yeah, so hopefully that goes well too. So I have a super great weekend. Thank you so much, Preston, for the studio and for getting us all together. And thank you so much, 1UP, for having a great event.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, dude. And 3 teams in the top cut, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome, dude. I am super happy. I woke up this morning so happy. I said, let's get to work, boys. Let's get it going.
Now we got to get that translated over to YCS.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming soon. Because I don't know if for a lot of our longtime viewers that have been paying attention to the progression, I mean, we were having trouble with regionals at a point. You know, Alex Valito going in, Mr. Bubble Man, he bubbled every regional for a whole year, and now you're not going to go to a regional without seeing him in top cut. Same with you. I mean, you've already been topping all the time, but we're used to it. Go back to a few most viewed video on the channel, actually, with your last one. So,
it was with Eldritch. So turns out I can't top 4 regionals.
Do we have off of you?
That's a lot. I can't top 4 regionals without skill drain in my deck. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Man. If it's legal, it's a good card, right?
yeah.
All right, Danny. I appreciate you, man. Incredible.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Peace.